Alright, what's up guys? NinjaDeathStrike here, bringing you another Pokemon TCG match that will not be late for a change. I'm recording this Thursday night so that it will be rendered and ready to go Friday. Trying out a bit of a fun deck. I've kind of gotten to that point where I've played out a lot of the Tier 1.5 decks, and so I'm just kind of moving down the bracket, playing things I want to play because they're fun, and losing a lot of games in between. So this deck is going to be Darkrai Superior. Superior is a card that I've always had a fond place in my heart for, so I always try and get it to work, and it never quite does. Looks like I'm going to be up against Darkrai Hydreigon, which is obviously one of the top decks in the format. It appears like this guy probably knows what he's doing, at least from the initial start. It seems pretty good. So I'm going to Ultra Ball here for a Sableye, go ahead and put him down on the bench, Dark Patch to him, and then I can go for the Juniper, and as long as I hit an energy, I'll be able to Junk Hunt this turn, and that'll be really, really good. Which of course means I don't hit an energy at all. I whiff it. I do get my Computer Search though, and so I'm definitely going to use that just to get a Dark Energy. I can chuck some more of these trainers into the discard pile and go ahead and attach to Darkrai, and then I'll be able to retreat and Junk Hunt and actually get my Computer Search back if I want it. The problem here is I don't have a whole lot of cards to discard for it, so I actually think I'll probably end up getting a random receiver, and I might grab the Computer Search because there's not really anything else in there I want. I don't have any Dark Energy. There's no use to get an Ultra Ball when I could just get the Computer Search. The Energy Switch was tempting, but without knowing what supporter I get, I just opt to go for the Computer Search. And I have a pretty decent turn 2 setup here, assuming I don't get End. I can Rare Candy into Superior, go for my random receiver, and then depending on what I get, I can either just toss that Computer Search again or use it before I Juniper. So I'm sure that's what I'm going to do. My opponent going a bit slow. He hasn't played a supporter yet, which means I don't want to get an N off of this random receiver because I want to keep him dead drawing if I can. Luckily, I get a Juniper. I decide to just go ahead and play down my stuff. I don't want to discard that other Darkrai just to get something else. I don't really need anything else, so I'm just going to go ahead and Juniper here. And I can pick up the Computer Search again next turn if I need to. So you notice that I do play some Grass Energies. I do like to keep the option to attack with Superior if I need to. Grass is not bad right now just because of Keldeo. If I have to attack with Superior, I can do 120 damage to either Keldeo or Blastoise. It also gives me the option to snipe a Blastoise for 30 on the bench and then use Catcher to drag it up and attack with Superior for the KO. So I play a couple Grass Energy just for that reason. I also, you saw the Shaman EX. Put him in here just since I'm already playing Grass Energy, and Energy Search seemed like a decent idea. So I'm going to Junk Hunt here, think about what I want. The Computer Search is obvious, and I decide to grab the Energy Switch too. That way I can definitely attack next turn or keep it around or whatever. It just seemed like the best option. I don't really need anything else. Maybe I could have gotten the Ultra Ball, and that would have given me double Superior, which would have been amazing. But it wasn't too big of a deal, so grabbing the Energy Search does turn out to be a fantastic move here because I do get Catchered up. He's going to try and Catcher stall me. We see he finally gets a supporter. He plays a Great Ball, which is a little odd. I've seen it quite a bit on TCGO. I can kind of understand it. It does just give you a free card. It's a search card that you don't have to discard for like Ultra Ball, but I really think it's definitely the weakest of the balls, so I'm not sure why he has that. He also uses it to get Fliptini, and that kind of tipped me off that something was a little bit strange here, and we're going to see in a bit. He has a very unorthodox Darkrai Hydreigon list. definitely not standard at all. It's an interesting take on it. It's probably a lot of fun to play actually, but it's not quite as good as a regular one would be. So I do catch up the Darkrai here. I decide I'm going to go for the Night Spear. Getting the first Night Spear is always a huge deal, and since he played a Juniper, I don't have to feel bad about playing the N now. It's it's not like he's drawing dead anymore. I probably should have catchered out the Darkrai without energy on it. With Dark Trans, it doesn't really matter where the energy is, so I should have gone for the Night Spear that would do 90 damage instead of 70. Kind of just a misplay on my part, but I guess I was banking on the fact that he's not going to get a Hydreigon out this turn, which was pretty ballsy and not the best assumption to make. So definitely would have been better off going with the other Darkrai. And we see right here he does get the Hydreigon. I'm sure there were a ton of cards in his deck that would have gotten him Hydreigon. So he also benches Reshiram EX, and now we kind of see why the Fliptini's in there. It's in there to protect Reshiram. Reshiram gets a lot of flack as being the worst EX card, and really isn't that great, but it does 150 damage, and that's a lot. That's a lot. That one-shots anything that's not an EX, just about, except Wailord and maybe like one other thing. And that picks off weakened EXs real good, because Darkrai's Night Spear does 30 damage, and 30 plus 150 is 180, so it's actually enough to two-shot any EX just with that bonus snipe damage. So it's a really interesting card, and I actually like this guy's deck a lot. Not the Great Ball, but I think that the idea of really using Reshiram as a major attacker is pretty cool. One of his major problems, besides hurting himself, though, is Mewtwo. Mewtwo just tears him a new one. But it looks like he plays his own, at least one of his own, so I'm sure he's probably accounted for that as well. The double Superior here is going to be awesome. It's going to heal off all the bench damage. Unfortunately, it's not going to save my active Darkrai. If my opponent gets another Blend or Prism, he's going to be able to use Brave Fire and obliterate my active Darkrai, and that's going to be bad because I don't have another one ready to go. So he does put down a Blend and promotes Reshiram, which is not surprising at all. Shifts all of his energy up, and I'm going to get Brave Fired for 150. The good thing is he did fill up his bench, so there's no space for Fliptini. Means he's not going to be able to reflip. If he gets a Tails, it's really going to give me a nice big advantage, because I can get 50 free damage. But unfortunately for me this game, I don't think he flips Tails ever. I guess the theme with this week's games is flips not going my way. The last one I flipped 6 Tails in a row, and I think he flips 3 or 4 heads in a row here, and that's not good. So I do Dark Patch here, and since I have the Grass Energy, I will be able to Night Spear, which is good. Had I missed a Night Spear this turn, I would have been in pretty rough shape. I wouldn't have minded seeing me energy switch over to the Sableye instead of the Superior, just because I was going to discard it anyhow. You'll also notice that I threw away Pokemon Center. I don't know why I was playing that. When I made the deck, I'm like, gee, more healing on my bench. That's a really good idea. Completely forgetting that I play Darkrai, and that helps them a whole lot, and it weakens Night Spear. So I realize it during the game as I'm about to play it down, and then think about how much it would help my opponent. So I just throw it away instead. And yeah, that's a wasted card in the deck. So now I'm able to take out that Darkrai that I had been working on. Unfortunately, I don't get any of his energy, but I just wanted to kill it before he healed it, because this is Darkrai Hydreigon. They do play Max Potion, which would heal all the damage off and kind of ruin my day and put me way behind. So I opt to just take the prizes instead of getting a preemptive strike, or not even preemptive. He already killed me. A retaliatory strike on Reshiram, and also targeting down the energy. So he's going to attach another Prism. That gives him 3 multi-energies, which means Reshurum's not going to have any trouble using Brave Fire. Obviously, this deck's kind of weak to Enhanced Hammer too, so you can see why it's not that great, but I'm not playing a real deck either, so it makes for a pretty interesting match. Goes for a Skyla here. I didn't catch what he grabbed. Might have been a catcher? I'm not sure. I definitely would not catch her in this instance. I just smack the Darkrai and try and two-shot it by going after the Superior. Sure, he takes some of my healing down, but since he's playing Reshiram, he's already overwhelming me with the damage to the point where Superior really isn't being that effective in this matchup. You know, it's amazing against Darkrai, but not so good against Reshiram. So definitely a misplay on his behalf, I think, but I'll take it at this point. It's going to allow me to Night Spear him and get the upper hand damage-wise. But it looks like I'm just going to take out this Hydreigon instead. I guess my plan is to trap the energy onto this Reshiram, and then if I can just kill Reshiram, I can put him way back because he won't be able to manipulate his energy. I'll take it all off the board, and I'll be in good shape. I don't attach that dark energy before I end, and I definitely should have, because instead of the dark energy, I'm forced to attach a grass, which is obviously not as good on Darkrai as dark energy. But Hydreigon goes down. He doesn't have any space on his bench for another one, so I know that I don't have to worry about it this turn. And if he would just flip a freaking Tails on Brave Fire, I'd actually be in a really good spot. I hit Reshiram for 30 as well, just to try and soften it up, but of course he flips heads again, and it doesn't take any damage. So I'm at 150. I can't really do anything. I don't have another Darkrai powered up, so I can't retreat. Don't have an energy switch or anything like that. I'm just going to have to take it and eat another Brave Fire. So I did put him at 120, I think. So even if he flips the Tails here, he'll have 10 HP left. And I opt to go after Sableye with the Night Spear. My plan for taking my last 3 prizes is to kill this Reshiram, and from there, just target down the Sableye. 2 more Night Spears are going to kill it regardless of what's active. So there's no reason for me to attempt to take out another EX when I can just, take that Sableye and win. It'll also mean that a catcher will win me the game at any point because I can just catcher it up a Night Spear, though that would have been the case either way. So by doing it this way, it does give me an option to take him down later. So he makes a really good play here. He retreats the damaged Reshiram to the bench, sends up Darkrai, and takes out my Darkrai with his own Night Spear. So, it's not going to force me to have a catcher because I can actually KO the Reshiram with Night Spear damage, but it is going to mean that I can't KO Reshiram and hit Sableye at the same time, unless I get a catcher, which I do here. So I believe I'm in range to kill both of them. Maybe I'm not. I don't know how much damage that Reshiram has on it. If it has 100 and... It's got 120. Okay, so I do need a catcher to take a prize. All right, so that was an even better play for him, but I luck sack the catcher, my last catcher off at the end. I'm able to drag up the Reshiram, take it out, and Night Spear Sableye for 30. Now he's at 60. If he doesn't have a max potion, he loses next turn. And thanks to Superior, I am able to save my Snivy. He doesn't die to Night Spear damage like he would have if I didn't have Superior out. So the only thing I lose to here is a catcher. I'm not sure how many he's played, but he only has 1 card in his hand, and he hasn't played a supporter. So really good odds that I survive the turn and then just win the next turn. Unfortunately, we're not going to get to find out what happens because good old TCGO decides that it's done working, and the server just crashes in the middle of the game. But we know he didn't have a supporter, so I'm fairly certain I won this. It's possible that I didn't, but in any case, it was a really good match, and so I wanted to post it because it really did come down to the wire. It could have gone either way, and unfortunately, we'll never know, but I feel like I probably had the win, just judging on his hand and the fact that he didn't really do a whole lot the last turn. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, even though the ending was a bit of a letdown. Give me a thumbs up if you did. Leave me a comment. Check out my links in the description, and I will have more coming your way shortly. Thanks for watching, guys.